So House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy aiming to take Nancy Pelosi's spot as House Speaker as the Republican Party gears up to seize control from the Democrats in January. It is a few short weeks away. For more on this, let's bring in our political panel. Joining us now is former communications director for Amy Klobuchar's 2020 presidential campaign, former Hillary Clinton spokesman, and Democratic strategist Tim Hogan, and former communications director for Texas Senator Ted Cruz, and former press communications director for Trump's 2020 presidential campaign, Erin Perrine. Erin, Tim, thanks for joining us on your Saturday. We appreciate it. Okay, so let's dive into the politics and what this balance of power is going to look like. So, Erin, I want to start with you because it's looking to be a little bit of a divided GOP agenda here. Some want investigations, some want to legislate and actually fix Americans' lives. So is it smart to focus so much on investigations right off the bat? Can they do both?
They will do both. And it won't be solely investigatory only when it comes to what this Republican majority has done. They ran on the commitment to America. They put out a policy platform that talks about the economy, that talks about the border, that talks about the border crisis and the drug overdose crisis in this country. These are things that Republicans, when I worked in the House for Kevin, were able to help with. We were stemming the tide of overdose deaths. I remember passing legislation when we were able to do that. We passed tax cuts. We were able to boost the economy. Those are things that with oversight, and there should be oversight. That is a congressional duty and obligation of the administration. So these things together will make America better because you need the legislation, but you need the oversight to hold elected officials accountable as well.
Are Democrats prepared?
Yes, and I think you saw it in sort of a drama-free succession that we had with House leadership. And I think what's going to be difficult for Republicans is that they have exactly that choice. Are they going to legislate? Or are they going to go and do oversight? And is it going to be Hunter Biden's laptop? They have a historically slim majority. The proposal that they made to the American people during the election didn't really rally or result in a lot. They have infighting, Hawley calling the Republican Party having a funeral, Ted Cruz taking shots at Mitch McConnell.
That's not anything.
There's a little bit of soul searching going on in the party.
Searching, and look, I think that the box that Democrats put Republicans in of proposing plans to cut Social Security and Medicare in different ways, you have Rick Scott with a different proposal than Mitch McConnell. It's a mess on the Republican side, and I don't think they know what they're going to do.
Okay, so big news this week with Speaker Pelosi obviously announcing that she is not going to seek leadership. Take a listen.
I will not seek re-election to Democratic leadership in the next Congress. For me, the hour's come for a new generation to lead the Democratic caucus that I so deeply respect.
One-party Democrat rule in Washington is finished. We have fired Nancy Pelosi.
Tim, can this younger generation pick up the gavel and sort of fill in these really big shoes?
I think so. And I think Nancy Pelosi wouldn't make that decision without having that faith. We are having a succession that is, not as dramatic as what you're seeing on the Republican side. I mean, she has accomplished a lot over her career. She is an expert legislator, but she's an expert politician as well. She knows that Hakeem Jeffries and other Democratic leaders that are stepping up can build that coalition. And I also don't think she's entirely going away. It's a decision that she'll have to make, but I still think she has a role to play in Democratic politics.
Really quickly, and then I want to move on from this, but do you think McCarthy has the votes, Erin?
I do think Kevin will get the votes, right? You hear the Matt Gaetzes and the Rosendales and the Goods of the world saying, no, no, no. Who do they have? Who are they going to put up? There is no Paul Ryan. And let's remember, these are the same clowns that unanimously voted for Kevin before. So now they're saying they wouldn't, but they did before. When they voted for him last time to become Republican leader in the 2020 cycle, Kevin has worked his tail off. He has recruited. He has fundraised. He has made sure this is a conference with a purpose and a mission. There is nobody better suited to be Speaker of the House, and I am so excited to watch Kevin McCarthy get that gavel.
I think it's a little bit of wheeling and dealing on Capitol Hill, right? You use whatever weight you can throw around, and then you try to get what you can out of it. I got to move on to FTX because this has been insane, and obviously we're going to hear a lot about it on the Hill, a lot of calls for oversight. And Tim, I got to ask you, because you've got Democrats now in a really tough spot, some that took some of this money now sit on some of these oversight committees, and they say that they can do the job of oversight and investigate. Can they, or should they recuse themselves?
I mean, an undercovered part of this story also is that the co-CEO of FTX, Ryan Salem, donated $20 million to Republicans in 2022.
But the majority of his money, though, went to Democrats.
No,
over 90%.
For Sam Bankman-Fried, that's correct. But for Ryan Salem, who's the co-CEO, donated to 43 Republicans. I mean, he gave $2 million to the Congressional Leadership Fund, aligned with Ken McCarthy. So my point is, this is a problem for both sides on oversight, and they need to take it seriously. The DOJ is investigating, the SEC is investigating, but it's something that needs to be done in a bipartisan way, and I don't think can be weaponized by either party.
And I want to ask you, Erin, about obviously this Trump investigation. Now he's facing a special counsel. What are the political ramifications of this? Because obviously Merrick Garland admits the whole him announcing his candidacy for 2024 had to do with it.
Yeah, there is a real concern, especially in the Trump base, about the politicization at the Department of Justice. We saw them weaponized against parents, calling them terrorists, going into investigations. So there is a real concern. And on the Mar-a-Lago raid, the drips and dribbles, the leaks, all of that pieces of information that caused real issues, again, with the Trump base, thinking they are being weaponized against the sitting president's former president's political rival, right? This is a concern. So the special counsel is different from an independent counsel because they are still under the purview, while not direct oversight daily, of Merrick Garland. So because there is still that level of connection with Merrick Garland and this investigation, you will continue to see the Trump base raise questions about it.
I can tell you one thing. You both are going to be very busy in this new session. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday. I appreciate it.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.